Hey everybody, this is part 2 of the Chapter 4 series where we'll talk about browsers and we'll talk about screen resolution. If you want to follow along in your book, I actually think that that's pretty wise. The page number for that is 70. So here we are. First and foremost, browsers, because browsers are going to have the largest impact on what kind of screen resolution we have for things. So here we go with browsers. The question we have to ask here is what is or which are the browsers that are most common when coming to our web resource? So let's, before we continue any further through here, let's look at just the desktop. So if we were to look at just the desktop and we were to use rockvalleycollege.edu as our demo, right? Which site it is that we are looking at the data for. If we are looking at rockvalleycollege.edu, which desktop browser would you suppose is the most popular one used? So the answer is actually Chrome. So that actually holds up with what I think a lot of people are expecting here, is that Chrome is the most frequently used browser that we have. Far and away the least popular browser that's used is Internet Explorer, and everything else just kind of filters in from there. Now we're in an environment where most people, as a matter of fact, most people are not coming from the desktop environment. Like we mentioned last week, that most discovery, so discovery again is the first time that a new potential future client comes across whatever your web resource is. Most discovery is driven now by mobile. This is going up over 80 and 85%, and that's a huge portion, right? So when we look at the mobile side, which again is where very, very probably most of our unknown potential future clients are coming to us from. When we look at the mobile side, what do you think the most frequently used web browser is? As it turns out, not the easy guess you had before. It is not Chrome. It is, in fact, Safari. Mobile Safari is hands down, far and away, the most commonly used browser, full stop, that comes to rockvalleycollege.edu. So that means on a tablet, that means on an iPhone, what have you, that those are the browsers that are coming there. Now, a note on browsers. Once upon a time, you had to, and the text suggests it here, once upon a time, you had to go out and use every single browser there was out there because there's little quirks. And that is less true, but it is certainly still true, even with many of the things that you'll be putting together. So it depends on what version of Firefox you have, for example. If you are going to put a favicon, so the little icon up here in the URL bar. If you are going to put a favicon in there, Firefox does not use the method we use in the text, but Chrome does. So not everything is 100% the same. My suggestion to you is check the big three: Firefox, Chrome, and Edge. Edge is still something you need to check because, of course, most people have PCs and most people never change the defaults on anything. They're work machines. They're people who don't care. They're not as interested as you are potentially in computery stuff altogether. So check Edge. Don't bother with Internet Explorer. That's old enough now that many of the things you'll build won't even work. Chrome, clearly you'll want to check there. And Firefox. Firefox and Safari use the same, it's called an engine, a rendering engine. Both of those use the same engine, so the same software to be able to paint your web pages. So they'll act nearly identically. So do yourself a favor and check those. As we're going through and doing the web homework, or as we're building projects in class, really just check them in Chrome because you can be assured who your audience is, and it's me, and I can give you an assurance that you will not get in the industry. And that assurance is I can tell you exactly what browser it is that I'm going to be using. It's going to be Chrome first and Firefox second. Screen resolution, that's the next piece here we do have to worry about. Once upon a time, screen resolution was the easiest thing in the world to worry about. Everybody had 420 by 680 screens, those good old-fashioned CRT monitors. That is in no way, shape, or form the case. You can actually check here this link, marketshare.hitslink.com, and you can see that again. It's on page 70 if you want the full URL that you can type. This is going to change every year, but certainly these are ancient, and this is not true any longer, but it's a good indication. Everybody's display is getting higher and higher quality, so that means we're packing more and more and more pixels into there. Your iPhone is better than a 1080p, well, it depends on your iPhone. Okay, let's make a statement that I can back up. Most phones are better than HD TVs as far as pixel density is concerned. How many pixels wide by how many pixels tall? So the things you have to worry mainly about are your media, your images, your videos. Make sure that the images and videos you use are going to be high quality enough in order to actually fit on those pieces of device essentially correctly. So screen resolution is important, but test on whatever you've got. For the most part, as long as you have an HD, a 1080, so that's 1920 by 1080. Let's get that window out of the way. So as long as you have that, for the most part, you're going to be in pretty good shape. But it doesn't hurt to test. So if you've got an iPhone or an Android phone hanging around, go ahead and take a look and see how your output looks.